everything that I can.
To go, and so are we.
This type of love don't always come and go.
Welcome everybody to the college football season.
I don't wanna ruin this one. This type of love don't always come and go.
What is up, everybody? This is Kevin Coleman at @theboys_22 with the Triple Play Fantasy Network. I appreciate you tuning in on another devy episode. A little different on our devy series that we're going to be doing. So we were breaking down the top 25 devy teams and looking at them. Please take a look at that playlist if you haven't already. And then also on top of that, what I'm going to start doing is breaking down some fun college football position battles that we're going to see heading into the early fall, right? The season. And basically, I have to go after my Michigan Wolverines first. I'm a Michigan fan through and through. Been a Michigan fan since I was a very little kid. All my Wolverine fans out there, we know the helmet is iconic. That was one of my first gifts, actually. I remember I got it. I don't know if it was a birthday, Christmas, when I was really young. And I'm a nomad. I lived all over the place as a kid growing up. And I remember just so I don't really have like a local team. Like I've lived pretty much everywhere, mainly in California, Alaska, and Nevada. But I will say that I always remember having that Wolverine helmet. I was up on the board. I got it for I think it was Christmas, and I just had it in my room as always. And so that's where my love for Michigan came. You know, I always joke, man, you should give me an Alabama helmet. But like I said, I'm a Michigan fan through and through. No matter what, I'm dying with this team. So you know, that's where we're going to go. So we're going to look at the Michigan quarterback battle. So that's where I wanted to go first. So again, I think one of the biggest things about Jim Harbaugh and concerns that we've had is that he just hasn't been able to develop the quarterback position. And if you can't develop the quarterback position in college football, you are done. Like your team is just not going to succeed. You need a great quarterback, and that's something that Jim has not done. And he has not done that in Michigan. I mean, just let's take a look at his quarterbacks since 2015. Jake Rudock, he was a transfer quarterback. Wilton Speight came in, didn't do what he needed to do. John O'Korn, transfer. Brandon Peters. Shea Patterson, damn it, Shea Patterson. We thought Shea Patterson was going to be the savior of the program, transferred in, and he just was not. He just did not do what we needed him to do. And so you'll notice that he kind of relies on some transfer guys coming in. He hasn't really developed talent that he's gotten. Highly recruited Dylan McCaffrey, he just transferred from Michigan. Joe Milton transferred from Michigan. Cade Mcnamara is there now, and that's who we have, and we're going to break down the other guys that are there for a depth chart. But you'll notice that he has constantly relied on transfer quarterbacks coming in and not a lot of development. And so where is that? We need that development. As Michigan fans, we've seen it. Like, you need to develop the quarterback position, especially because Jim Harbaugh is supposed to be the quarterback guru, and it just hasn't happened. And I think there is a cause for concern for that. I am not one of those guys that says we need to fire Jim Harbaugh, because I think Michigan fans, we overrate our program a little bit. Who else are we going to get? I think that the reality of the situation is he needs to do a better job of developing that quarterback position. And hopefully he has. Hopefully we're going to talk about it when we go through here. But to be fair, Jake Rudock probably the best quarterback we've seen since 2015 in that program. And that's scary. And that's not something that we definitely need if we're going to try to beat Ohio State. I mean, it's very simple. We're not going to beat that team unless we do this. Now, let's look at the depth chart. You know, Cade Mcnamara is going there. And again, for devy C2C purposes, I always put ADP. Him and Alan Bowman have no ADP or NA. They just have nothing going on. JJ McCarthy, freshman coming in, the kid that saved basically Harbaugh's job. ADP 105.24, QB 25. So he definitely does have that. And I know the running joke within the devy community is, oh, we can't draft a Michigan kid, positional player, because Michigan just ruins them. I wish I could tell you differently, but I can't yet. Okay, so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you got to take a little shot on him. If anybody it could be JJ. We'll get into him later. But we're going to go through each quarterback, go through scouting and film. So let's do it. So Cade Mcnamara, 6'1", 205, 2020 stats. He was 43 for 71, 61.1%, 425 yards and 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So when you look at Cade as a quarterback, he did very well coming in last year in the Rutgers game. That's kind of the film that we're going to watch. I like Cade. Like, I really do. I think Cade is a fine quarterback. So why we break down what he is and kind of go over what I like to see from him, just know that, like, I think he's very good. But is he good enough for this Michigan team? I think that's the question mark we're going to come into this going for it. And to Cade's credit, most of the coaches have come out and said it's Cade's job. But I still want to talk about this because I still think it's a competition. Now, let's talk about his strengths first. I really like his accuracy. Like when you watch him play, he knows when to get the ball out quick. He has a pretty good release. He knows where he's going to. He knows where his targets are. So he does a very good job of hitting his targets. He does a good job of ball placement. He can hit it. Now, when you do watch him, most of the stuff is over the middle of the field. He doesn't tend to get to the numbers, to the sidelines very well. I think that's because of his lack of arm strength. But he does do the other good things right. Ball placement. He has intangibles. He leads his team pretty well. He works with his team really well. And you can tell that he knows the game very well. He can process very well. He makes good throws. He knows all those things. He's a very, very fine-tuned, fundamental quarterback. I think the two areas that I think he has a weakness is he's not very athletic. He doesn't have very good arm strength. So athleticism and arm strength are two things that you really got to look at. So let's take a look at that Rutgers game where he came in and was able to beat Rutgers. Jeez. But you'll notice this. Like, you'll see his balls die a little bit on him, but he knows within the system. Like, he plays within the system. He has it. Probably his best long throw that I saw in this game. Get it, but that ball did die. And you'll notice that he knows where his reads are going to be. Now, he did have a tendency to kind of stare down his reads. Like, he knew where he was going to go with it. But he made the right throw. He made the right decision. Didn't throw interception. I do think that the upside is limited a little bit with him. I think this is where he's at. You'll notice that he gets to the numbers. Ball flails him a little bit. He had two wide open guys there. This is a good example of knowing where he's going to go with the ball pre-snap. And, hey, very good, play action, knew where he was going. Getting his guys in space, I think one of the things is he likes to get his athletes the ball. The problem with Michigan athletes right now is, like, we don't have those top 5-star guys. So can he overcome that? I don't know. I think that's my biggest question mark with him. I think he's a very solid quarterback, but he's an 8-win quarterback. I don't know necessarily if he's going to get us over that big hump. He does pretty well on the run. And so, like, I like to add that throw to his tape, because when you even watched him in high school, he did a very good job functionally getting out of the pocket, and he makes good throws and gets on platform pretty well. He's very just fundamentally sound as a quarterback. So don't think I don't like him. I just don't know if the upside is there, right? Like, and as Michigan guys, we always like that upside. Hey, can it be there? I know that's got us in trouble, but I just worry that we've seen Cade Mcnamara plenty of times the last 5 years. We haven't seen maybe J.J. McCarthy. All right, and that's kind of where I'm going with that. Now, before we get to those guys, let's talk about Alan Bowman, Texas Tech transfer, 6'3", 215, career stats, 478 for 713, 67% completion percentage, 5,260 yards, 33 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Allen was going as a very hot devy asset a couple years ago after his freshman season at Texas Tech. A lot of guys liked him, his size, his physicalness. He's there. Now, as far as scouting-wise, he has experience. So playing at Texas Tech, he's obviously, you saw the numbers of his career throws. So I think he has the most experience of the room. He has arm strength. Like, this kid could throw. Like, when you watch him, that is one of his skills, and that's one of his strengths right there, arm strength. And he's got the intangibles leadership. I saw somebody in an article when I was researching him and going over him. When he transferred, they compared him to kind of Baker Mayfield's leadership style. Like, he's got that little edge. He plays hard. He has it for his teammates. And by all accounts, when I watch him, and by all accounts from like other people, they talk about his teammates love him. So I like that. I like that leadership quality. Maybe that's what Michigan needs. Now, some weaknesses. He needs to learn the system. He's gotten in the kind of late, wasn't at the spring game or spring whatever they had, and he just wasn't there. Like, he hasn't been at spring practices. He didn't necessarily get enrolled early when he did transfer. So he's got to learn the system. So that puts him a notch behind these other guys. Injuries have definitely railroaded him a little bit, and he had a terrible season last year. Didn't look good last year. That's why he transferred. That's why Tyler Schaub transferred from Oregon to Texas Tech. So he definitely doesn't look great. So to me, as a Michigan guy, when I'm thinking about this, it's struggle, because Harbaugh likes these transfer kids, but I'm like, hey, he didn't make it at Texas Tech, but then he didn't transfer to Michigan. That puts some red flags in my ear, just a little bit. Now, you'll watch him here. A lot of these throws look the same because they kind of are. He'll get it to the numbers on the outside. That's what I think makes the difference between him and Cade. He's going to get to that number. He's going to get it there, get it to the corner. They're going to score, do those type of things. He gets it to the inside here too. And I like that. I like that ability to kind of get the ball out quick. He has got a good quick release. He knows where he's going with the ball. He's just a very solid option too. I just think a couple of things that he does that does get him to mistake. He'll push the ball too far and too much and try to make things happen, which can lead to costly mistakes and turnovers. But he does have that arm strength, his ability to lead his receivers. You'll notice it on tape right here. Gets his platform down, delivers the strike. That's a hell of a throw and a hell of a get to his receiver crossing over the middle. I like that. And he's pretty fundamentally based. Like his base is good. And he gets it, even when he gets into the outside, he's able to keep his footwork there. So he's very consistent. Throws across his body. You'll notice his arm strength right there. Like he's a gamer. And that's what I like about him. But I think if we're starting him early, then we're in trouble this season. I think that, especially with the lack of knowledge of the offense, those type of things, like these are things that we need to understand as Michigan fans. Like we can't just rely on. I think he's the option is if these other guys don't work out. I think maybe Jim will maybe try to get him in there too early, and that can lead to some issues. But he certainly has the arm strength. I just think mistakes-wise, we can't have those mistakes with our defense. We can't give up field position, those type of things. I don't know necessarily if he's the guy that I would want to start. But that's me. You know, I obviously don't make the big bucks like Jim over there. But that's what he does well. So that's a good thing to kind of look at. Now, let's talk about the guy that everybody wants to talk about, and that's J.J. McCarthy. Love this kid. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. 6'3", 195. As prep stats, he was 36-2 as a starter, 7,900 yards, 94 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Now, he did transfer to the IMG Academy his senior year, and his numbers, I just want to kind of for you to listen because I couldn't find completion and attempts very well because he did struggle with that. But his senior year, he had a 91 completions off 157 attempts. So again, his completion percentage isn't great. Like I think that's one area of weakness that we'll be mentioning. But he did have 1,400 yards in 6 games and 16 touchdowns. And so they didn't put up his interceptions, of course, but that's kind of what he looks like. Now let's talk about his strengths. Poise, pocket awareness. I think he has he plays above his years in age. Like he knows the game very well. He stands in there. He doesn't look just to run like young quarterbacks can do sometimes. He has pretty good functional athleticism inside and outside of the pocket. He had 104 yards rushing last year and a touchdown. Like it's not going to be a huge part of his game, but it can be a part of his game. He will push the ball vertical. Like he's going to go and he'll push that thing out. I love his aggressiveness a little bit, and I think he has better accuracy than Bowman. He knows when to go and when not to go. And he has a strong arm in the short intermediate range. Now, I said weakness for arm strength because he just hasn't gotten to that ability to push the ball super hard downfield and have arm strength and accuracy. Like he has very good strong arm, short intermediate. It's still long ways, and just getting that bar that far, he can struggle. It wanes a little bit. Consistency is going to be huge for him. Can he stay consistent, especially at this level? Because the competition levels in high school where he was at prior to IMG were not great. Now, I love that he went to IMG, got more reps, played against better talent, especially in the COVID days, but he only had 6 games. So when you're looking at him from a quarterback prospect, he had 6 games against real legitimate talent, high school talent, and now he's going to Michigan playing the Big Ten. So that is something to think about, question about, those type of things. Now, let's take a look at what I like from his tape. You know, he's got that arm. I like what he sees and he processes very well. You'll see it here. Like, that's a good move right there. I mean, that's a savvy veteran. This is my favorite throw from him, basically. You'll watch it here. He feels the pressure, so he steps up in the pocket. Then he's able to get outside. He doesn't just take off. Finds his receiver downfield, has the arm strength to get it to the back of the end zone touchdown. If that throw tells you everything I need to know about him as a quarterback, that kid can freaking throw the ball. And you'll see it here off his back foot, able to make an in stride to his wide receiver. This is what kind of sets him apart, I feel like. He's able to basically, he has the accuracy, he has the arm strength to kind of get it there, and it's only going to get better. Like, it's going to improve. Receiver doesn't have to wait too long. I think there are some throws, that's why I put it on the kind of his weaknesses that he does struggle with a little bit, but he's able to get it to his guys and get it there, and I like that. And you'll notice it here. Like, he's able to get on the outside, finds it, gets his platform there, and then takes off. And he does have this athleticism. He can do this. So I like what I see from him. Now, when I was writing for my Fantasy Pros article on him on Big Ten Sleepers, I talked about him as being kind of like Matthew Stafford. I compared him to that similar build. I think he has a similar game, and I think he has that kind of that gunslinger mentality. Like, I love J.J. McCarthy. If I was the head coach, I'd be picking J.J. to start. Hey, let's go. This is who I'm rolling with. I understand the whole, like, he needs reps, he needs time, but, you know, Harbaugh's running out of time, and so is Michigan. J.J. could be that kid that steps in and just goes right away and wins us some games. And I think if we win 8 games with J.J., that's different than winning 8 games with Cade. I know that sounds crazy, but I just do. I think that if he can develop into the quarterback we need, then we can start getting some recruits again. I think that's where it's going to be. But let's talk about my predictions. I've kind of already mentioned it, but here's what I think will happen. What I want to happen is J.J. be the starter. What I think will happen is if you look at their schedule, okay, not, you know, as you look here, nothing crazy at the beginning of the year. Washington is an interesting game. If we win in Washington, let's say Cade starts the season. I think Cade will start because Harbaugh is too conservative. Michigan is too conservative. They're going to start with the guy that they know. Let's say they go 3-0, then they play Rutgers 4-0, and then we go to Wisconsin. I think that could realistically happen if we go 4-0, then we play Wisconsin. If we get blown out by Wisconsin again, then maybe we start seeing some QB changes. But I will say this, if we are close or lose any game in the first 4, if Cade is the starter, I think J.J. McCarthy will come in. With this schedule that we have, I really feel like we should be getting into 10 games. Who can be that guy? I think it's J.J. McCarthy. But like I said, Harbaugh, he likes his consistent quarterbacks like Cade. Hey, maybe run the ball a little bit more. We know we have Donovan Edwards, Corum, those different guys there. But I still think it should be JJ who comes in, who competes for this job and takes us because he is the highest ceiling guy who could bring us back to the promised land. But let me know in the comments, my Wolverine fans out there, who do you think should start? Who do you think has the highest upside? And who are you drafting in devy? And are you willing to take a shot on J.J. McCarthy at QB 25? So, as always, I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let me know how I'm doing. Until next time, see you later.